So guys, here's today's project. I'm gonna start the lean-to gazebo. It's small, just for a love seat, and it's about 8 foot, 7.5, 8 foot wide. I know I have 8 and 8.5. I think I'm gonna shorten it down to about 7.5 foot long. And then coming out, it says 6, but I think I'm gonna go like 5.5 inches or 5.5 feet. Tried to throw some examples in red or blue tape, and the X is going to be where I'm going to dig, and then the outer parameter, which is about 6 inches, that's going to be the overhang. Ideally, I probably wouldn't do an overhang for this. I would just keep it simple, go right to the edge, but I'm really trying to limit how much visual obstruction I have coming out of the door wall. So I'm going to stand in the door wall, and if you look, imagine if this was the post. I mean, post wouldn't be as fat as my hand, but I don't want it to cut off too much of the patio if I'm looking out in the patio. So that's about where I'm going to go. I almost thought about going more in, but I didn't want to have it too unbalanced with the load of the snow. And I have a sump pump with a line coming through. I don't know exactly where I'm going to go or where it's coming through, so hopefully I don't hit it. I'm going to dig it by hand. Got a new posthole digger. Couldn't find my posthole digger. I bought a steel one this time. It had really good reviews. It's heavy. The only bad thing I've heard is sometimes, since the handle doesn't flex, which that's what I want, sometimes the spade can bend, and you can try to bend it back, but it gets weak. I can live with that. I might even be able to do some metal supports, and it does have lifetime warranty, so I probably could just exchange it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these stones. My thought is, where the X marks the spot, I'm gonna pull those. Those are 6x6 pavers. Pull one up, mark my X. Then once I have my X marked, just in sand there, I'm gonna pull the ones up around it so I can dig my hole, and I'm gonna use some cardboard so I don't make a complete mess. And again, hopefully I don't hit that sump. That sump line comes through here somewhere. Hopefully I don't hit it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get digging. Just a couple minutes. I actually went pretty fast with this new posthole digger. One of the big reasons why I went with steel, actually two reasons. One is the weight. Still out of breath from doing it. So when you're shoving it down, when you're doing one of these, boom, the weight helps you out, because, you know, pulling it out of the hole, yes, it's heavier, but that's not the hard part. Kind of wedging it down, kind of like a hammer, sledgehammer. But the bigger advantage that I'm noticing is the lack of flexibility in the handles. So I'm using a tight hole. This is just the opening of the posthole digger, which is probably about 8 inches. I'm just like wedging that clay, because I have a lot of clay soil, wedging that clay and pulling it right out. It's working like a dream. I'm just hoping that the other holes go as easy. I'm 24. The other thing I like about this, I used to always have to pull my old one out and check the depth. This one, it's got a ruler on it up to 34 inches. So without even pulling, I know, I guess it could be a good and bad thing, depending on how fast or slow it's taking you. That's where I'm at, guys. I got the other ones to do. Hell, if I just get the holes dug and filled with concrete today, that would be a win in my books, but we'll see how it goes. So I end up hitting the sump pump line, so I'm gonna have to fill this hole and then go in, because I should have showed you guys. See, there it is there. So it comes to about right in the middle of the hole. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack this in and dig right here instead, and that'll be my new hole. So I ran into another snag. I have a water line for my sink ran, and I don't know if you can see it. I thought I hit a wire. I'm like, I don't have any wires running through there. I tore it up. So fortunately, we had extra copper, and my father-in-law was like, just run two in case something happens to the other one. So I'll go ahead, and I tapped it with a hammer, so I know this is the bad one, labeled it, and I'll go ahead and cut it off later with a copper cutter. So, and then I'll just use this one. I'll cut it on the other end too, and I'll, just to make sure, I'll do a pressure test before I cut it. So yeah, it's always something. But it looks like I avoided the sump pump drain. I wanted to dig this one first just to make sure I wasn't hitting anything, because I want to do it in the same line. I know I'm good here. And so to pack it down, I have this long piece of steel I got from the hardware store, I think Menards. It's really heavy, and it's only got like maybe a 2.5 inch circle. So I just put it's almost there now. So I'm just going around, putting 2 inches, 3 inches, pounding it, 2-3 inches pounding it. It's been a long day digging these holes. You know, I was thinking about going 24 inches, 36 inches, and I really read for my zone, it's 42 inches deep. And, you know, the first 24, 36 went by pretty fast. But with this clay and the limited size of holes, instead of opening up to a wider diameter on the top, it was a bear. My arms are killing me, but I do have 3 that are 42. This one, that tape, the bottom of that tape is 42. So I got like another 2 or 3 inches to go, but I've been working on this hole for probably an hour and it's not moving. It's my last one, of course. It's always the last one. So I'm gonna work on this a little bit more, call it a night, and see what tomorrow brings. So what I did is I set these stones in just to kind of see what I'm working with. The goal is to pour a footing that's just a little bit above these pavers. So I'm gonna have to make a form. I set these back in, they're not level. I'll have to take those back out. But just to kind of get an idea what I'm working with, the plan is I am gonna take one of the square ones, which I made sure it still fit in here, which it does. And I'm going to make a box around this. So I end up going with cardboard instead of that thin plywood fiberboard stuff. It's just easier to cut, and I really only need it to extend. So this is inverted. This will kind of go to my level, so this will be even with the brick. So I only want that 3/4 of an inch, whatever this is, sticking above, just so that it sheds water. And I'll just smooth it off, and my post will go on top. Again, this is a little portion that's going to be sticking up out of from the pavers. The rest is just a straight tube that ensures that it fits down in my hole where I want it to go. And the rest I'll just fill up with concrete. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it to the sides, and this will be one form down. So basically out of nowhere, we had a chance of thunderstorm. I took the precaution, covered it all with this tarp, and I'm glad I did. It stormed almost all night. I pulled it back a little bit. It's supposed to be really hot. And before I tarped it, I put some scrap wood just so I didn't fall through, and I'm glad I did, because I probably stepped on the scrap wood 5-6 times as I was doing the tarp and moving stuff. So I went and covered the area with scrap cardboard, cut up some boxes, and then I cut an 8-inch hole. My plan is mix up the concrete in the wheelbarrow, get it over here, because I don't want concrete splashing on my pavers. Put it in the hole until it gets about, I'd say about 4 inches to the top, because the forms I built last night, they're 5 inches deep. So that way the forms kind of can set in that concrete a little bit. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna need more water, though. concrete, another bag. Just gonna tamp it down a little bit. All right, guys, so I'm right where I want to be. Now I gotta be extra careful not to make a mess. So I'm going to, so even with that, don't advise doing this when it's 90 out. 95 actually. Not fun. And last one. There you go. Get my form. I did this right. It should fit perfect, and it does, but it should. I gotta push it down so that it's rested on these bricks. And that should give me a perfect spacing. And with this cardboard, once I remove it, it'll give me that, oh, I don't know, 1/8 to 1/4 inch all the way around. So I'm gonna put some more by hand. And I'm pushing this a little bit down. And I'm gonna keep on putting some more. It's gonna push out. Michelle, can you give me a piece of cardboard? Because I'm gonna make a mess.
What do you mean by cardboard?
Yeah, just scrap cardboard. This is gonna.
From in here, though?
Yeah, there should be a piece in there. See, it's wanting to lift out on me. When I pack it, it's pushing it out. It's okay if it pushes out a little bit. Just trying not to get any on concrete pavers.
That poop is gone.
Here, I'm videotaping right now. Yeah, they got rid of it, a lot of it. I'm gonna keep on pushing down here because it wants a lift as I'm pushing. And I want to push because I want to make sure it's getting in all those seams. Also, the cream of the concrete brings it to the top as you work it. I'm almost there. Now there's not much screening, like sometimes you take a trowel or a piece of wood. I don't have room for that. I don't think it's really needed because it's so small. I'm just gonna do it with my hand. A little low spot there. That's good. Actually, I should have probably already set my anchor in there. So shall make a little note on the top which way it's pointed, so I know I turned it in there. Drop this straight in, kind of wiggle it. I'm going to turn it as I'm wiggling it. Gloves. I want it to get in the middle as much as possible. So here's where we're at, guys. I'm gonna probably just do one video just showing the footings. But on Saturday, day before Father's Day, I dug pretty much the whole day. Went down 42 inches because that's where our frost line is here. And that's 42 inches from grade. Of course, I'm coming up about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And it was torture. I went and bought a new posthole digger. That worked good, but in order to keep the holes kind of on the smaller side, once you got below 36 inches, it was really, really difficult. I tried looking for a couple additional tools locally because I wanted to finish it, and those were like an auger. I'll leave a link. If I ever have to dig holes again, I'm gonna buy these two. One was an auger, the other one was Fiskars, and it was a posthole digger, but it was a little bit different where the shaft going up, it's kind of crossed over so that it doesn't span as far when you're closing it, because when I got down there to get the clay, I had to take a big long metal, I don't know, it's like a breaker bar, but super long, super thick, super heavy, and just kind of work it out, and just to get to that 42. But it took me hours and hours. If I only had to do like a 24, 30 so inch deep, it would have taken me probably just a couple hours. But I dug all day, and then it rained, so I covered it. The holes didn't get much water. Father's Day, didn't really work on it much. The only thing we did is go get bags of concrete. Based on my calculation, it was 8 bags. I should have bought 9 bags, or at least maybe 7 60 pounds and 1 80 pound, because that's really what it took. Worked on Monday, so we started about 6 o'clock. My wife helped me pour it. Took about 4 hours to 4.5 hours to mix all the concrete with a wheelbarrow and pour them. Put the forms in, pack it, put the anchors in. Went to bed really late. Worked late on Tuesday, and it rained again. After about, what was it, Monday night, about 10:30, it started to rain. Covered it again because I didn't want it to get soaked. And here's where I'm at now. So Tuesday I didn't work on it, got home late, just uncovered it, cleaned the tarp, and I went and tugged on one of these forms to see how easy it was to come out. And I originally thought I'd have to unscrew them, but I forgot it's double thickness, double layer of corrugated not plywood, but corrugated cardboard. And it just kind of, since it's wet, it just kind of separated. So I pulled one, it came off, and I'll show you guys. I'm gonna do another one here. Hopefully it comes off as easy. So, and that one I just kind of give it a loose, see how it's come loose, and it rips off. And what I did on the other one, and this is just tape just to kind of hold that form. I'm not even going to remove that. I'm just going to peel back until I need it, which is about this much. Well, I guess I will take the tape off. And there's my forms. So after like 3 or 4 days, my anchor points are complete. I fixed my brick pavers. You can't even tell. Basically, they took the size of one of the 6x6 all the way around. And I'm still deciding. These are 4x4, which actual is 3.5 by 3.5 brackets for post. I keep on going back and forth on 4 foot or 4x4s or 6x6 for the post. I have to make up my mind pretty soon, but that's it. I'm done with this phase, so I guess this will end part 1. Total time I have in doing this, now I'm in a frost area of 42 inches, so I'm going to take a few days off. We have some family things and a wedding coming up. I'm going to refine my material list and do the second phase, which is erecting this, I don't know if you want to call it pavilion, gazebo. My wife calls it a gazebo, but it's more of like a lean-to awning that's just not connected to the house. The idea is to make it where I can unbolt it if I ever decide at this house or need it to move it. I could unbolt it, and that's the other reason I didn't want to put the footings in or put the 4x4s or the 6x6 actually in the ground. So that's it. This wraps up part 1, guys, and thanks for watching.